Welcome to Your Beautiful Life, the show where we find beauty in unexpected places. Today we're here in my backyard on the last weekend of summer, and I'm keeping company with this stunning gardenia plant. Let me introduce you. This is Gardenia jasminoides. It's a native to the warmer, more humid parts of China, where it's been cultivated since the 12th century. Admittedly, it is a challenging plant to grow indoors. Last year I had one in the house and I managed to bring it to an untimely demise. But this year it's been wet, rainy, humid, and we have an abundance of these deliciously fragrant blossoms. So why don't you join me on the patio and I'll show you a couple of creative things we can do with these stunning beauties. If you would like me to offer an engaging lifestyle presentation at your event, I welcome chatting with you about how I can help make your day special. Please subscribe and you'll receive updates about classes and presentations. I'd love to meet you there and share your beautiful life. So here we are under the canopy on the patio, and look what I made. This is what I'm going to show you how to make. A lovely little boutonniere for the gentleman in your life, or for a lady, it's just a little pared down version of a corsage. What we have is a gardenia blossom, a little tiny bud, and some fresh lavender from the garden. As well, we have something a little unexpected, golden cedar and a euonymus, a golden euonymus for our foliage, all of which are going to hold up beautifully for your special occasion. And I'm thinking the special occasion just might be Monday. You know how they have casual Fridays? Well, I never really understood what that meant. So I showed up at the office naked. It was okay for some comic relief, but I'm thinking if we can have casual Fridays, why don't we have glamorous Mondays? Heaven knows Mondays need all the help they can get. So I'll teach you how to make some body flowers. Flowers for your body so we can have glamorous Mondays. Step 1, get a fabulous gardenia. Doesn't have to be a gardenia, a rose, a carnation, whatever you happen to have on hand. And make sure when you cut it to put it in a bowl of water for at least an hour or so it has a chance to drink and get nice and firm. I'm just going to remove all of the leaves from the back of our flower, and I'm going to take off any petals that are less than perfect. I see one with a blemish, and that's just not going to do for our Glamorous Mondays. And then we want to get a florist wire. These come in different gauges. This is a medium gauge, and they come as fine as hairs, which is ideal for what I'm going to show you next. Trusty pair of wire cutters, and we want to wire this through the back of the calyx, which is jargon for where all the petals of the flower meet. And we're just going to insert our wire right through the middle and then bend it down very carefully so we have a little shepherd's hook. And we'll take our trusty florist tape, which you can buy at any craft supply store. And the secret to this stuff is give it a little stretch. It's very stretchy, and that activates the stickiness. So we're going to very carefully handle, the gardenias bruise rather easily, so we're going to take the tape and wrap it right around the calyx so we conceal our wire. We don't want any of that wire work showing. This is going to reinforce the flower and also capture a little of the moisture in to help it last a little longer. And there we have our wire nicely taped. And I think we're going to mimic the boutonniere that we did for the gentleman's buttonhole flower, and we will put some lovely lavender on the back of our gardenia. And I'm going to show you how to wire some foliage, which is Floristry 101. I learned how to do this 30 years ago when I was just a baby. Take some ivy leaves or whatever your favorite foliage is. You could very well use the foliage from the gardenia plant because it's very waxy and hardy and it would hold up beautifully. We want to take a much thinner gauge of wire. This is what we call a hair wire. And we'll take one of our very tiny little English ivy leaves on the back and insert our hair wire right through the midrib on the back of the leaf. This is ever so delicate surgery. And then, as we did with the gardenia, draw the wire back upon itself. You can see I left a little bit of stem there of the English ivy. I'm going to hold on to the stem, take the longest part of my wire, and wrap 2 or 3 times around the wire and the stem, so I've got a nice little wired leaf. And once again, I'll squeeze that just at the base to make sure we have lots of contact. Stretch my tape and wire up all the mechanics so they're out of sight and hidden. The purpose to do this is so we have flexibility and we can manipulate our leaves any way we want. When we're building our corsage, this is going to come in really handy. So the first thing I'm going to do is place the lavender on the back of my flower. This will provide a little additional support for the gardenia as well. You can tape as you go, as you add an ingredient to your corsage. And I tape about 2/3 of the way. And to eliminate some of the bulk, I'm just going to use my secateurs and get rid of those lavender stems. Otherwise, I'll end up with a very bulky stem that'll be difficult to pin onto a delicate garment. And now I will add the English ivy. What we're wanting to do is build aesthetically a pretty framework for this flower. You can see it starting to take shape already. Save your smaller, more delicate pieces for the very front of your corsage. Now this is something where your junior designer or your kids could help out. The junior floral designer is like the sous chef in the kitchen. I'm using about 5 or 6 of these wonderful English ivy leaves. And I've built a little collar around the gardenia. Once again, I'll tape these with the florist tape. Winding in a spiral fashion, overlapping slightly so that all the mechanics are covered up. And essentially, that could be done. You're the judge. You get to decide. We could continue building this, creating something from whatever you happen to have on hand. I have some lovely sedge or some ornamental grasses. You could make loops of this, which would be a botanical version of a ribbon. I would use a hair wire again, just to give that a little twist to bind them. A little piece of tape at the binding juncture. And there we have a nice little addition to our corsage. But since I don't know the meaning of over the top, and knowing how Monday morning can be a real grind. I'm going for the gusto. I'm going to bring out the real glam and add a little piece of organza ribbon. I'll show you how I made this. The craft supply store, by the yard. Get your best scissors, and don't use Mom's Good scissors for cutting paper. These are the fabric shears. We need super, super sharp because this organza ribbon has a tendency to fray. So I didn't really make a bow per se, I just made a loopy little creation. I just bound it together, kind of like a figure 8. With a tail at the end. You can use another wire to bind that around your center binding point. Pull it nice and tight and give it a twist. And there you have a little organza creation. And it's very forgiving. You can play with that. You can just do some ruching and scrunch it up and make all kinds of interesting little glamorous poofs to add to the back of your corsage. This is where the creativity comes in. So I'm just going to add this to the back of our corsage. And once again, the tape comes to the rescue to adhere this. You think you can work miracles with duct tape? For me, in my world, it's florist tape. I never leave home without it. So there we have, more or less completed. I'll show you how to finish this off nicely. And now to completely finish this off, we're just going to make sure after we've cut the wires to tape the very end so there's no sharp wires protruding. And you're ready to wear this lovely thing. Always the stem pointing down. So now you know how to make a corsage and all kinds of body flowers for him or her, the special person in your life. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for Glamorous Mondays. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope you enjoy your beautiful life.